we're talking about the tribal nature of the human soul, which I think looking at history, we're going to see. This goes to two concepts. The first would be like with the Italian mafia, for example. We see this played out throughout history, and all the way to you're part Italian, I believe. And
Yep.
my mom spends more time in Italy than in the U.S. I've spent probably over a year in Italy. I'm fascinated with the Renaissance and the Medici and the Borgia. I know you're Catholic as well. And so the Medici were essentially the first mafia family that kind of created this model, and they realized, well, keeping it within the family, it just has efficacy. It's the best way to do business in an untrustworthy world. That comes to America. Let's imagine that RICO doesn't happen. The American mafia is able to seize power to the point where we believe they control the banks or Hollywood, which is the next thing I want to get into. But would it not be more logical to go after the mafia? And maybe this is silly because I'm not sure you're even doing this, but some people will, the equivalency would be to attack all Italians, claiming that that's inherent. This mafia spirit is inherent in the genetics or the religion, or somehow it's ingrained within Italian people. Whereas I think it's more cultural we were just talking about the Medici and the history, the shared history.
Well, you're very right. I mean, the Italians had a lot of similarity with the Jews because they're clannish. And it wasn't even all Italians, it was Southern Italians. It was Sicilians, it was Calabrians. And what made them so powerful as a mafia? Extremely clannish, kept it in the family, just like the Jews. There's family values. And also they were transnational. That's the other thing. A big benefit that they had, and you see it even in the movies, is that they had the Italians in exile, the Italians as immigrants in America, but also the Italians in the homeland. And there was this sort of arbitrage that they had in the same way that the Jews have that power too. Now, you would not be wrong in those days, in the 30s and 40s, to say Italians are sympathetic to the mafia, because they were. And, just like with the Jews, there's this debate about is it all Jews? Is it the ones that are powerful? Is it the ones that are powerful and bad? But, that's also an oversimplification, because just like with the Jews, to make it less politically charged, yes, ordinary Italians, many of them were way overly sympathetic to the mafia. And I know that because my family was too. My grandmother probably took out a mob loan when she was in Chicago. And, this is a story I think I've told on my show, but after my grandmother's husband died, she had to support her two kids. She didn't have a job. She was a stay-at-home mom. Her husband died. She wasn't going to get remarried. And my mother believes that she probably took a loan from the mob, because every week after my grandfather died, one of these very famous gangsters from Chicago would come and visit her and bring a basket of fruit and, and meet with the family. And, looking back, my mom says, oh, I thought he was just a nice guy. Probably he was coming to collect a payment or something. And you know what? My grandmother always used to say what you want about the gangsters and the mafia, she said, but when they were going to kill somebody, they killed who they intended to kill. They weren't like these gangbangers now who just kill, an 11-year-old in an alleyway. She said they provided a service and they got their person when they wanted to kill somebody. And it's like, that is an ethnic bias. So that was real.